Hello once again, Bakucrew and Bakugan fans. This is BakuBrad96 bringing you another subscriber requested deck profile. This one features not only two of the most iconic Bakugan of the reboot, Dragonoid and Nilius, but it also features the fabled, epic, and legendary Leonidas, one of everyone's favorite Bakugan, and I am excited to continue building around him. Now, this deck was built with the rapid fire strategy in mind, so it's more or less another damage deck that does facilitate, of course, Leonidas' core ability to the best of the deck's ability. You know, it's not chaos or anything, you land on the cores by chess, but yada yada yada. Either way, I want to go ahead and jump right into the review, starting with the team. Now, obviously, it was requested, so I did my best to use what the subscriber or Bakucrew member wanted. Of course, it is Leonidas double helix core B power of 110 damage, and then on double helix, it gets an extra 1400 B power, a very strong epic Bakugan, and if you manage to hit the 2 helix, it's even better. But this deck really focuses on more of Leonidas' damage. His B power is not that big of a problem. Hopefully, anyway. For the Dragonoid I decided to run in this build, it is the Platinum Dragonoid. It does give us access to another Helix for Leonidas after all. So, Helix and Green Fist core, B power of 500 with 1 damage, and then if landed on a Helix and Green Fist, plus 1000 B power. Again, another strong effect if you do get those core abilities off. Really hard to land on them on Pyrus. You know, it doesn't have the Chaos Faction's ability to just simply add BakuCore from the field to a Bakugan. But still, I think this deck is really strong and worth taking a look at. The final Bakugan I am using, it is from Geogan Rising. I did decide to use the Nilius Ultra from last year because it is double orange shield, which does help the deck in a few elements I will talk about later on, as well as it does work really well with the rapid fire strategy because of that extra 7 damage there. But anyway, double orange shield, B power of 500 with 3 damage. It has built-in reroll, which is just epic, especially with this deck. You know, you don't necessarily want to land on the helixes with Nilius per se, you want to save them for Leonidas, so reroll is really good. But then if it lands on a orange shield, plus 7 damage, giving it a total of 10, which is the same as Leonidas, I thought that might come up with the deck. Again, gearing everything towards the damage and the rapid fire strategy. The BakuCore that I use for this deck, since I am using Pyrus+Darkus, oh, I dropped a Bakucore there, sorry. So the 2 orange shield, obviously, Pyrus+Darkus Bakugan get plus 400. Really inconvenient if Leonidas lands on these, but they're not meant for Leonidas. You know, you want to set these in a pathway for Dragonoid and Nilius, and then put the helixes in the front, per se, you know, for Leonidas. But they really do help Nilius and Dragonoid. For the 1 Green Fist, the plus 3 damage will suffice. I wanted to get a little more damage help in there, and this deck does use Baku gear, so this core does give -1 energy to those. Might help us play them during a match. The 3 Helix cores, I didn't want to lose any damage on this build since, again, rapid fire. Last build I used the plus 600 -3. This time for Leonidas, I am using 3 of the plus 300 B power and plus 3 damage. Just that way I don't have to worry about losing any B power, I don't have to worry about losing any damage. Just kind of the vanilla, safest Helix BakuCore to use. Feel free to use whichever one you want while building your own version of this deck. I recommend it. One thing I did consider was using the plus 500 -1 damage, because all the Bakugan on this team can take the -1 without really feeling it too bad. Of course, that would make Pyrus Dragonoid 0, and that would stink. So, that's why the +3/+3. Now just quickly reviewing the figures because this is a Bakugan channel after all. Here is the Alpha Nilius, if you will, from Geogan Rising. Mine does have some battle damage from a previous brawl, but this is awesome. Unfortunately, I did miss out on the diamond version of this Bakugan. I never could find it. I found 3 of the Elemental Serpilius, 2 of which are raffle prizes, but I missed out on the diamond of that wave, which was the Nilius. Either way though, this Nilius is really awesome. The 3 heads is just epic. All in all, really detailed. All 4 legs are in the mold. A good wingspan, just a lot of detail. You have really every part of Nilius in this form. And to close it up, it's really cool. All 3 heads. You want to kind of fold in on the neck and then down, which is kind of hard to hold them all when you have fat thumbs like me and you're clumsy. And then you wrap the tail around and push in the wings. So you don't want to wrap the tail around all the way, just enough to hold the wings in place and not even close it on camera, so fail. Okay, try that one more time. Wrap everything around, very slow like. Wings in to hold the legs in place, and the tail is supposed to go down, but it's not. There we go. And that is how you close the Nilius Ultra. A very good ball form. It is very tight. Obviously, I had a hard time closing it there, but very good Bakugan. Moving on to one of the first Platinum Bakugan I got on the channel is, of course, the Platinum Dragonoid, looking really epic with the, fiery red translucent plastic there. The gold metal, it's just really, really awesome. Great Bakugan. Love the die-cast metal design. That is Dragonoid. So to close them up, you're going to put the upper body, or push the upper body down, head and feet in, tail in, and then wings are going to close it all together. That is the Platinum Pyrus Dragonoid. Very epic. And then that leaves everyone's favorite. Just got to pop out the manual horn here. Leonidas. Which, right now, the only way to get Leonidas is the Bakugan Evolution's Battle Arena. However, I am really hoping that Spin Master not only releases more Leonidas, in different factions, but a Ultra, Diamond, Platinum, Elemental, like all of the rarities would be epic. I mean, couldn't you all imagine that? It would be just so, so cool. Just like the Elemental Arliss maybe on the wings. Or even a Diamond Leonidas version where the wings are clear. Platinum, the entire metal, or middle being metal, would be awesome. So many routes Spin Master could go. I really hope to see more of Leonidas in the future. But continuing right along, the subscriber did request that I use the Arcleons. Sadly, I don't have the new leaked Platinum Pyrus Arcleon quite yet. It's not out. So I am using the OG from Geogan Rising, as well as the Darkus version, which I thought fit well with the deck, so it was good that it was requested. Another reason why I did choose to use the Geogan Rising Nilius for the Shield BakuCore. Now then, just quickly going over the Nanogun. They are manual. This is Arliss Scorcher. The only Nanogun that was not requested, but I did want to run a full set of 3. So I did decide to use the Arliss Scorcher for the Arliss version of the deck. That is Arliss Scorcher there. The peg to attach it to the Bakugan is in the neck or head if it wants to come out. There it goes. And then it just fits into Leonidas like so. I'm going to put it in backwards because I don't think it'll fit otherwise. Oh, I just lost the Scorcher's head. So rather than do that and continually break my Nanogun, I'll just set that to the side and review the next one. Those pegs don't always match up with the holes in the Bakugan, but I'm sure if I took the minute or the time, I could get it to fit. I just want to review the whole thing. I have a whole deck profile to get to. So moving along, this is the Nano Pyrus Riptide Nanogun used in the deck. Slide Leonidas over here. And then finally, the last Nanogun is Darkus Crystalline, a very awesome Nanogun. Again, sporting that new magenta pink for the darkest color scheme. Much like the Darkest Nano Widow, there are no black colored pieces of plastic on this Nanogun, which make them really cool, full magenta Nanogunner. Just neat, it's different. It's a color that Bakugan didn't really use the first time around, so it's nice to see Spin Master's design team branching out and using different colors. Really awesome. But now then, that's it for the characters, the stats, the BakuCore. I know that was a long minute, but now on to the actual deck itself. Starting off with 2 Body Crusher. It's going to be 1 energy for, can I zoom in? Can we get it? There we go. So 2 Body Crusher, 1 energy for -4 damage, and you get to scan. Oh, sorry about that, had a loss of breath there. But that is one of my favorite cards. -4 damage is really good. And in a damage deck, you do want to counter your opponent's damage. That's obviously a no-brainer. Moving along with 2 Energy Sphere. 1 energy for Rapid Fire. The second Rapid Fire card you play this turn is free. Otherwise, you may reroll your Bakugan. So, very crucial to the deck strategy. Not only that, but being able to reroll your Bakugan is epic. So, just an awesome card overall. After that is 2 Ray of Pyrus, a card I use a lot of. 1 energy for +3, but it does have the Stoke effect. So when you play it, if you pay an additional 2, you gain the effect a second time. Meaning this card can either be played as a 1 energy for 3, or a 2 energy for 6. So very nice. Or excuse me, a 3 energy for 6. Very nice, because you pay an additional 2 to gain the effect a second time. Now then, 2 Body Breaker, which is 2 energy for Battle Mastery. You get to choose one out of +300 B power or +4 damage. So just a good situational card that is R-less, and I use it because I don't have very many R-less cards. This probably is the only one I'll use the most of. After that is 2 Darkest Petrify, 2 energy for -5 damage. Again, just kind of disruption for the opponent. More disruption in the form of Hot Potato. I have 2 of these, so for 2 energy you get to remove an enemy Bakugan's BakuCore, negate its effect, and return it to the field face down. Very good card, especially given the fact of Nanogun. I will probably use this in every Pyrus build, no matter what, because it's just epic. Now then, since it is a rapid fire / damage strategy, I am using 2 Might of Syndius, 2 energy for +1 damage, and then the turn you play it, the victor is decided by highest damage instead of B power. Really huge when it comes to Bakugan like Platinum Dragonoid and Leonidas that have really low B power to start out with. And this deck doesn't have a lot of ways to give you B power, which means this card is very important. Wish I had 3 of it. Next up is Stinging Web Snare. This is a card that for 2 energy you get +200 B power and 6 damage. So a ton of damage for low energy cost makes this an excellent card. And it's Darkus and Pyrus. Fits right in. Next up is Throw Anything. 2 energy for +400 B power and Shadow Strike. So here the deck gets into giving B power to your Bakugan, which is important, but Shadow Strike is even more important. Having the ability to not have your B power and damage reduced is Really, really huge, especially with Leonidas. Very important. Now, the other card I don't use a lot of is Aurelus Laser. It is a Baku gear for 3 energy. You get Shadow Strike and plus 200 B power and plus 2 damage. So, really cool. Just a new card that did come out of the Battle Stadium from Armored Alliance with the Halcor X Serpentes special Bakugan. Just a really neat card. Thought I would throw it in because I don't use it a whole lot, and it's new-ish, I guess. At least it's new as far as me using it. But after that, 2 Meteor Storm, 3 energy for plus 4 damage, and draw a card. So just some card draw to help us weed through the deck and thin it out, as well as giving us a sizable amount of damage. 3 for 4, not bad. Pyrus Spark, 3 energy for plus 300 B power and double strike. So double strike really helps when you're stacking damage with the low cost cards, such as Ray of Spike, Body Crusher, not Body Crusher, what's it called? I'm so horrible. Body Breaker, that's what it is. So that just helps. As well as 300 B power, not a whole lot, but when Leonidas only has 100 B power, it matters. Next up, because the deck does use a lot of cards that cost 2 energy, I am using my stereotypical Monstrous Surge, even though I'm not using the Darkest Night for the rest of the combo. This card, for 4 energy, gives you 800 B power, and then Sync, so if you reveal a card in your hand that costs 2 energy, you do get plus 4 damage. Obviously, in this deck, the plus 4 damage does come up, but 4 energy for 800 B power is just as good as anything else. Next up is once again a stereotypical Pyrus card that has been in all of my decks lately because of Nanogun, and that is Pyrus Overload. So for 4 energy you get plus 500 B power, and then you remove all BakuCores attached to a Bakugan and place them onto the field. So you counter your opponent, that is great disruption, as well as a decent amount of B power. After that, I am running 1 Darkest Pyrus Pulverizer, 5 energy for plus 5 damage, and then return it to your hand. It does have the Rapid Fire ability as well, so the second Rapid Fire card you play after this is free. Really huge. Potentially, you could just loop this with your other Rapid Fire cards, play it, get it for free, return it, play it, get it for free, that kind of thing. So, really neat, and just a way to get in some consistent damage. As well as trigger the rapid fire from not only that itself, but your other rapid fire cards, such as Darkest Scion. I run 2 of these. For 5 energy, you get plus 700 B power, and then rapid fire. So, again, the second rapid fire card you play is free that turn. Very epic card. Does help with Leonidas and Dragonoid, plus 700 B power is not bad. The 5 energy kind of does hurt. One thing you could do to edit this deck, and I consider doing it, but I didn't know what to cut from the deck list to add it. But Song of Fire is a action card that for 3 energy, you get 5 energy. So it's kind of like a ramp card, if you will, but it does help you get into the 5 energy cost rapid fire cards easier. I just didn't know what to take out for 3 of those. But next up is Lava Blade, 5 energy for a Baku gear with an armor rating of 2. It does have the rapid fire. Other than that, you're going to give a Bakugan plus 200 B power and plus 4 damage. So just a really good card. Again, Baku gear equip and they're not removed unless destroyed or another one is played. So that 4 does stick around on Leonidas, that 200. Added up with your other cards in the deck could help, but mainly there for the rapid fire triggers. Now on to the Geogan stats. Pyrus Arcleon is 1 energy cost for a B power of 900 with 2 damage and double strike. So really interesting, just a way to early play a Geogan. Rolling Leonidas and losing on the brawl. Drop an Arcleon, you could win it. Just depends. The Darkest Arcleon is a bit better in this deck in my opinion. For 2 energy, you get a B power of 1000 and 7 damage. On Green Fist, plus 500, and then on Orange Shield, plus 3 damage and Shadow Strike. Clearly goes very well with the core lineup in the Bakugan I chose to run on this team. But again, it was requested by the subscribers, so they know what they're doing. It definitely matches up very well. Now then, for the flip cards in the deck, I did use a few that I don't normally do, just for different forms of coverage to showcase on the channel. Starting off with Crescent Darkest Nullifier, 1 energy to block a Aquas or Pyrus Bakugan. After that is Pyrus Stopper Slam, 1 energy to block a Pyrus or Fusion Bakugan. Swift Flame, 1 energy to block a Darkest or Chaos Bakugan. Weapons of Darkest, 1 energy to block a Darkest or Fusion Bakugan. And then to wrap up this deck profile, I do use 2 Golden Wall, 3 energy to block non-Fusion Bakugan. So very epic. And just another way to use Arliss. So now the Nanogun of the deck, starting out with Nano Crystalline. On Orange Shield, you get to add a